A young man named Armin goes to a restaurant with his girlfriend. Suddenly, a man joins their table and is happy to see Armin. The man calls his daughter and tells her that he just met her fiancé, who surprisingly didn't mention that he already has a girlfriend. Armin has to run away from someone who might become his cousin. A young guy named Tone comes home to his wife, Alona, who is waiting for him. He tells her that he has bought a gift for their wedding anniversary. Alina is excited, thinking her husband has bought a car. But when she finds out it's actually a washing machine, she feels sad and slumps back onto the couch. Then her husband sees their stash of money. Savings is not present. Alina says she used her money to buy a dress. She also talks about her friend, whose husband surprised her with a trip to Europe for their anniversary. While she is talking, she tells Ton to take out the trash. At the same time, Armin calls Tone. Ton pretends in front of his wife that his friend is very jealous of their purchase and asks Alina about it. Alina wants to cook for her friends, but she keeps mentioning her friend's husband, who hangs out at a cafe. Frustrated, Ton goes to take out the trash and finds Armin hiding behind the dumpsters. Armin wants to stay low at Ton's place, but after thinking of Alina, Ton suggests they go to a cafe instead. They then wave down a taxi, a trickster called Tima. After discussing the price, the three friends leave the house. While driving, Armin shares a story about meeting the father of one of his girlfriends. Unlike Armin, the father was looking for a serious relationship for his daughter. Armin's friend, who is married, tells Armin that it's a good idea to settle down. He mentions that he has a 25-year mortgage and just bought a washing machine. He forgot to tell his wife that he had left the house. When he called her to talk about how great the new washing machine is, she sarcastically told him to marry the washing machine, and then hung up. Tima joined in and mentioned that he has a great relationship with his car, which he calls Swallow. Suddenly, the car got stuck in traffic. The guys notice a pink car by the side of the road with a girl inside struggling to get it started. She asks for their help, but they laugh at her driving skills and drive away. Later, they get stopped by a police officer who finds out that T's driver's license is expired. The officer tells them the car will be towed to an impound lot. The guys are, "You were left without a ride and need to find a new one." The same pink taxi arrives unexpectedly. The girl says she usually doesn't drive guys, but she saw they needed help. Turin thinks about his wife, and Armin, unable to keep quiet, reveals that they heard what Alina said, so there's no need to pretend his marriage is perfect. The guys decide that all their problems are because of women tea jokes, that he would have sorted things out with a female police officer. Armin imagines a world where girls don't have brothers or dads. He thinks about his wife's friend's husband, who often seems better than him. Then the driver, Sophia, who is impressed by their dreams, offers to give them a ride. They arrive in a world where only women live. At a bar, Sophia declines money from her friends and wishes them luck. Tima leaves, while Armin and Turin enter a cafe. They are surprised to find only women inside, who cheer with excitement when they see the guys. The guys are confused about the excitement, and soon drinks are being served. A waitress comes from all the tables and tells them that everything is free. They can rest and have a good time, surprised by this news. Armin picks up his phone and realizes that all his male contacts are gone. He laughs when he asks the waitress to change the TV to a men's soccer game, and she tells him that there aren't any. Three men find themselves in a soccer game where at least 22 players are needed. While at a bar, one of the men, Ton, asks about the men's bathroom. The waitress is surprised and apologizes, saying they didn't expect men to come to the bar. The guys quickly go outside, shocked to discover they are in a world of women. Then, Tima shows up and tells them that even the police are women. The cops here are women. Sophia goes back to them, puzzled by their surprise. Didn't they want to live in a world without men? They would get to spend a whole day in a paradise free of bothersome friends, husbands, brothers, fathers, or male police officers. But now they're listed in the Red Book, and they won't be able to. You're not allowed to take photos or make recordings. The rules say there can be no proof of the women's world. Sophia gives the keys back to T for her car, which is close by. Towing his car is not allowed since he's the only male taxi driver. Even though his friends are happy, he starts to feel sad, wondering how Alina will respond. Sophia comforts him, saying that in their world only time will go by and no one will know they're gone. Armin suggests they enjoy their time together because this happiness might not happen again. The guys hurry to the car and drive around the city, loving all the attention. Tima begins to think about what kind of fare he can charge here, while Turan asks to be taken home, despite Armin's objections. Suddenly a female police officer stops a man and is very strict with him. She tells him to get out of his car, but when he does, she unexpectedly kisses him and then quickly apologizes for misusing her power. Later, the three of them go to a club and have a great time, enjoying the attention. However, a waitress that Armin had flirted with before turns him down. He tries to get to know her, but she tells him that he is too proud and focused on himself. Then, she wishes him a good evening. Turan feels happy knowing there are women like her in the world. The guys keep dancing and drinking until a security guard tells T to step outside because someone is waiting for him. Surprised, he goes outside. At the door, he spots Olga, the police officer, pretending not to recognize him. He hides and goes back to his friends, telling them that the traffic cop has found him. Tom excitedly agrees they should leave the club because he wants to go home. Armin, however, wants to drop off their married friend and keep partying until morning. But then, the waitress brings the bill, and it's very high. At the club, men get to eat and drink for free, but they have to pay for the women's food and drinks. Armin suggests they wait until morning when their 24 hours are up. Suddenly, they see men all around them who look scared. The three of them quickly run outside to where Sophia is waiting, and she explains the main issue. During their visit over the next 24 hours, the men must say yes to any request from women. If they refuse, they will be stuck in a world only for men forever. They can only make one mistake, which they have already done. The men also gather all their money to cover their night out at the club. Tima then looks. Olga stands by her car and invites him for a ride around the city, and he can't say no. In the morning, they go their separate ways. Meanwhile, Alina offers to make any breakfast her husband wants, saying she's willing to do anything for her lucky husband. She also suggests hosting a dinner for him and Armin, knowing it will make her husband happy. Then, she calls Armin to invite him, requesting him to bring some spices. Armin agrees to help, but when he goes outside, an older woman asks him to help carry her bag to her apartment. He has to say yes. Meanwhile, Tima hears a radio ad for a fare and turns it off because the announcer is a woman. Suddenly, he notices something. As the women around him start to change into guys, he is shocked and understands that he has to follow all their requests. At the same time, Armin is busy making tea, doing laundry, and cleaning the floors for the older woman. On the other hand, Turan is enjoying a tasty meal made by Alina. He starts thinking of fun chores, and his wife happily brings him slippers and cleans up. The woman acts like a puppy in the apartment, but when he tries to take her picture, his phone dies. She gets upset and takes his frustration personally. He comforts her, telling her not to ask for anything else that day. She agrees, but quickly suggests they go out since they don't go out much. The house he has no choice but to agree. At this moment, Armin finishes mopping the floors. When he sees the old woman asleep, he quietly leaves the apartment and hides in a park. A girl, who is a painter, calls him over and asks for help moving her easel. To his surprise, he knows her as the unfriendly waitress from the bar. But this time she smiles. Explaining that she hated her job there, but this is her creative passion, she introduces herself as Diana. Meanwhile, Tima once again runs into Olga on the road, following his GPS. He drives off, but Olga gives chase, demanding that he stop every time Hiop stops. The female voice of the GPS urges him to keep driving. The chase continues for a while until Olga... Finally, someone catches up with him and tells him to stop, asking him to come with her to the station. Meanwhile, Tan and Alina are relaxing at a cafe. Tan quickly figures out how much he would have to pay for all the women there. Suddenly, a fight breaks out because the couple is sitting at a table that was already reserved. Alina suggests that they should leave, and Tan happily agrees. At the same time, Armen is... While walking with Diana, a group of girls asks him to get their kite stuck in a tree. He climbs up, gets the kite, but falls down. Diana helps him to a cafe where they relax and start to like each other. Suddenly, Diana starts to flicker, and Armen remembers the spices. He apologizes and runs off, promising to find Diana later. At the same time, Olga unexpectedly takes Tima to a hotel. Meanwhile, Armen gets a promotional offer and has to visit a beauty salon for treatments, including waxing. At the same time, Tan takes his wife to a special place in the park where they used to enjoy spending time together. He treats her to sausage rolls, just like before. On their first date, a guy named Armen is overwhelmed by Olga's affection, so he hides in the bathroom. While there, he accidentally sets a napkin on fire, which sets off the fire alarm and makes everyone leave the building. At the same time, Armen calls Alina to tell her he bought some spices, but she asks him to come back another time. He feels happy about it. He completed her request and rushed back to Diana. But he ran into the old woman again, who asked him for a massage. Armen lets Elle in just as Diana, the grandmother's granddaughter, comes into the apartment. They both leave while the grandmother yells at them not to kiss. Meanwhile, Tima tries to hide. Olga is stuck in an elevator during a fire because it locks. At Armen's request, Diana paints her own portrait but can't understand why instead of just taking a photo. Armen can't tell her the truth and says they might not see each other again. Diana feels hurt and upset, especially when Armen won't kiss her. Because the grandma asked her to do something, she sarcastically suggests that he should jump off the roof. Armen stands on the edge and asks Diana to tell him to stop, but she doesn't say anything. Then a little girl below screams and pleads with him not to jump. She tells him she has finished her homework, which says there are only 3 men in the world. Armen happily listens to her. Diana is told that this is part of the game's rules, but she only hears the word game, feels offended, and walks away. Armen takes the unfinished portrait and meets up with his friends to talk about their day. When Sophia comes, she explains that only people in her car can go back to their world. Suddenly, Armen takes control of Sophia's taxi and drives off quickly. He is determined to find Diana instead of Sophia, but he doesn't know where she lives. They go to the grandmother's house, and she shows them where Diana lives. However, when they get there, Diana won't open the door. The grandmother calls up to her, saying nice things about Armen, but Diana insists it was all just a game. Armen begs her to believe him, but she won't leave. The guys go back to Sophia, but she won't take them home and plans to leave by herself. Armen says sorry and explains why, even saying he would be willing to stay in this world forever. Sophia stays unmoved only when the guys fully repent does she agree to take them back. The taxi goes around the city and eventually comes back to the starting point. The regular world. The guys thank Sophia, but she acts like she doesn't understand. Then they help a female taxi driver move her car. One of them goes to buy flowers for his wife and heads home, while Tima hugs a traffic cop who is nearby. Armen starts looking for Sophia and all the places Tan tries to take his wife to the park, but first he sells their washing machine. Armen goes to Diana's apartment, but it's not her anymore. Another woman lives there with her jealous husband. Meanwhile, Tan treats his wife to sausage rolls and surprises her with tickets to Paris. Tima gets his car and unexpectedly meets Olga, who starts a conversation. In a chat about his favorite car, the two connect. Armin goes to art school to finish Diana's portrait and is surprised to see her there. They meet again for the first time and start dating. During the credits, Tima takes Olga to a hotel, this time dressed in a police uniform, ready to take action. Change some of her memories. The film has great views of Anna and features many beautiful women, but sadly, the jokes don't work well.